it is a well-known part of growing up. Parents embarrass their kids and then, the other way around. Now comedian Abby Govindan is mining these awkward moments and then turning them into comedy gold.
Abby joins us now to tell us how she's built this huge following amid struggles and eventually peace with your family. Thank you so much for joining us.
I am so happy to be here, and two female anchors.
Yes.
This is so exciting.
And congratulations, because your solo gig at Soho Playhouse just got extended.
It did just get extended.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I just can't even believe, I think in my wildest dreams, I could never have imagined that the reception would be so positive, that people would show up so much, that I just at the last minute was like, okay, let's add some more shows.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Unlike the reception when you told your parents, hey, I want to be a comedian, which I know you talk about in this show.
Yeah.
Well, take us back to that moment when you're telling mom and dad, this is the path I want to go down.
So this show is called How to Embarrass Your Immigrant Parents, and it's the story of how I told my parents that I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, how our relationship fell apart, and how we built our relationship back up together after my brief stint in a mental hospital following a suicide attempt. And so it's a solo comedy show, so there's a lot of jokes, but I also get very dark, and I take the viewer to the lowest point of my life, and I lead them through it. And I talk about how after I was hospitalized, my parents really rallied around me in a way that I never, ever previously would have thought possible. And that's when I had the realization that, yes, they were unkind to me by not being unconditionally supportive of my stand-up comedy dreams, but I was also unkind to them by not giving them the room to change. And it's the story of how we both came to this mutual understanding and how we became closer because of it.
It's beautiful, and you really go deep, and you're tackling really, really dark and tough topics. Did humor help you get out of this place?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that being a stand-up comedian truly gave me purpose in life that nothing else previously ever had. Every time I get on stage and I tell jokes and I connect with people and I meet people after shows, I truly feel like that was what I was put on this earth to do.
That's amazing.
That's really beautiful to hear.
Thank you.
It's almost kind of like if you never told your parents that you didn't want to do this, if you never went through those dark times, you think about where would you be right now?
Yeah, exactly. I think that if I could go back to 2017 me that was doing dingy open mics at basement venues and who was crying because I was so afraid to tell my family that I was doing this, I would hold her hand and I'd be like, everything's going to be okay.
Does your family come to watch?
Yeah, so my dad and my sister flew in this past weekend, and my mom's flying in this weekend for the extension.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, what do they say now that you're they see you on stage, you're doing this, you have all these followers on social media, what do they tell you now after seeing everything you went through?
Well, my mom called me right before I hopped on stage on Wednesday, and she was like, your father and I are so proud of you.
Oh, that's great.
And I, again, could not have imagined 8 years ago that this is where we would be, that I would be on TV talking about stand-up comedy, or that I would have the full unconditional support of my parents. But it took a lot of open communication, a lot of going to therapy, a lot of hitting rock bottom, my parents coming down with me to rock bottom, and both of us climbing out of that place together.
That's amazing. Okay, so how do your parents embarrass you? Where do you even start? Immigrant parents? I get that.
My parents love telling stories of what I was like when I was a kid, to my friends whenever they're around.
Bust out the photo album, right?
Yeah, literally. What about you? How do your parents embarrass you?
Well, I mean, there's that. There's telling a trillion stories. My dad loves car rides, and I have to hear about that to every person he tells. So, I get it.
My dad loves stealing all my snacks. So when he was in my house this weekend, after he left, I opened my cabinet and there's nothing left anymore. And I was like, oh my God.
You might have to add that one, his favorite snacks, in the next stand-up show. So where can people buy tickets? Where can they come see it? And tell us about the dates that's going on.
So the first show of the extension starts tomorrow, and then it goes through Saturday, and it's at Soho Playhouse every day at 7 p.m. And people can buy tickets at abbygovindan.com/off-Broadway.
You're amazing. Abby, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We got to go out to one of her shows.
Absolutely.
Please. We should go.
We're here to support.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.